Simba, I agree with you. NC commands the bigger part, the bigger chunk of the black community in Zimbabwe, in South Africa, the grassroots. That's a given. But for the first time in history, for the first time in their existence, they're going to have to share that grassroots support with one of the revered sons of South Africa, that is Jacob Zuma. That man is a grassroots man. He is a man who is loved by the ordinary South Africans. You know, he endears to them. They love him. He is not one of the educated in South Africa. He doesn't belong in the, that clique that you can say is the educated. You know, he is someone who came from nowhere to somewhere. He is someone who identifies with an ordinary South African, and South Africans love him, especially the ranks and file. So he is going to share that support with the ANC. And don't forget that the other support, especially those that belong to the left, and especially the young, have already gone with Malema. You know, those extremists, so to speak, for a lack of a better expression, they've already gone with Malema. And now Jacob Zuma is also taking a big chunk of that ANC support. I don't see ANC surviving. If they survive, they will not have a majority in South Africa. And like you rightly said, that has a direct bearing on the politics in Zimbabwe. Remember, South Africa has been sponsoring.
How does Zimbabwe get affected by elections happening 2,000 or so kilometers away?
That's what we call geopolitics, Simba. What happens in the region has a direct bearing to what is happening in Zimbabwe, especially South Africa. South Africa is the United States of Africa. You know, it's like the America of Africa. If South Africa sneezes, countries like Zimbabwe, they catch the flu, you know, and from the history of our politics, South Africa is the one that has been, sponsoring the existence and the survival of ZANU-PF. Without ANC support, Zimbabwe and especially ZANU-PF would not have support of SADC. South Africa literally controls SADC. South Africa controls most of the people that have money in Southern Africa, because most of them are South Africans anyway, and most of them have interests in Zimbabwe, and those interests are connected to ZANU-PF. They do not want their cash cow to go. They do not want their provider to go. So they've been safeguarding ZANU-PF. They've been making sure that ZANU-PF remains in power. Remember what happened to 2008. South Africa knew, as well as everyone knew, that ZANU-PF had lost that election. But somehow they managed to come up with an idea of a unity government, and they've been doing that ever since. Zimbabwe's opposition, President Tsvangirai, may he so rest in peace, now President Chamisa, have been winning elections all the time. And ZANU-PF, of course, using SADC as a shield, in South Africa at the helm, South Africa at the back of everything, have been making sure that ZANU-PF remains in power. So you can imagine, without the presence and existence of ANC in a powerful position, they cannot, ZANU-PF cannot survive. I don't see them surviving. And that's the reason, Simba, you are seeing ZANU-PF is trying to meddle in ANC or in South Africa's elections. Of course, we have heard the Electoral Board of South Africa refuting that and refusing that ZANU-PF should never be allowed anywhere near democratic elections because they are not a democratic movement themselves, and they've never had or held any free, fair, and transparent election. So what can they observe? What can they add? They have no value to the South African election at all. They have refused. But we know that at the back of everything, ANC is actually consulting ZANU-PF on rigging mechanisms, and obviously ZANU-PF will be trying to provide them. But I don't see that happening. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting, Simba.
What about the possibility of rigging? What have you heard? Because so far, I mean, in our context, maybe speaking as a Zimbabwean, kwedu isusu tinongoziva kuti kana taakurudza tinoona zvokuita tinoita sei tinosota zvinhu, you
It's on
know.
the table.
Yeah. So,
Rigging is on the
yeah?
table in South Africa, Simba. Rigging is
Is
very
it
much on the table. Yes, it's part of the menu. And obviously, it's coming from
But
ZANU-PF, being
mbutu
provided
manje
by
kunorowa
ZANU-PF.
mbutu vakada kuita izvozvo South Africa hakuna mangwana
But
chinoputika ipapo.
that's what
South
I was
Africa
about to
haisi
say.
Kenya kana Zimbabwe ka.
South Africans are not Zimbabweans. You know, they don't let sleeping dogs lie, and they don't let people get away with murder the way we do it in Zimbabwe. You will see there will be blood. There will be a bloodbath in South Africa if they try to rig the stupid way that ZANU-PF rigs elections in Zimbabwe. It will never happen in South Africa. It can only, of course, happen in Zimbabwe, where people see that they've been rigged and they keep quiet and they remain quiet. Right now, we are seeing Emmerson Mnangagwa is going to be made chairperson of SADC. And as Zimbabweans, we are quiet. We are not even voicing out our opinions. We don't like it, but we are just stuffing it in our mind. We're not saying anything. We're not doing anything. We're not even showing the world that we are not happy with Emmerson Mnangagwa, a contested and illegitimate president, becoming the leader of a regional movement, a powerful regional movement like SADC. And we let that happen. We are quiet. ZANU-PF is taking our money. They're building those little mansions near the new parliament for SADC. They have money to build houses for SADC leaders. They have money to reconstruct roads in Zimbabwe for the SADC summit, but they have no money to make sure that Zimbabweans have the basic necessities, hospitals, supplies of medication in hospitals. And of course, the roads in Zimbabwe are in a sorry state, but they have money to start making only the road that goes to parliament that will be used by leaders. And they even, build them multi-million-dollar houses. The money is there when it comes to retention of power and making the people that make them remain in power. That money is suddenly there. But for Zimbabweans, it's not there. And we remain quiet. We don't do anything. That doesn't happen in South Africa, Simba. South Africans will fight. South Africans will flood the streets of Pretoria, the streets of Joburg, the streets of Pietermaritzburg. Anyway, you will see that there will be havoc and pandemonium. They will not allow ANC to rig elections the way ZANU-PF rig elections in Zimbabwe.
Right, so you seem to be saying that this is possibly the end of Mnangagwa here.
Yes, it's connected. It's very connected.
Ndiko kugugwa kwa Mnangagwa iroko.
Oh, yes.
Ndiko kwachona here kwakugugwa kwake Mnangagwa kwake.
The worst case scenario,
Gwendo gwa Mnangagwa, eh?
The worst case scenario is Mnangagwa, ANC coming into coalition with other political parties. That's the best that they are going to get out of this election. And Womalema and others, Jacob Zuma and DA leaders and many other leaders that will be part of that government, will not allow the ANC to keep sponsoring rigging of elections in Zimbabwe. In fact, this 2030 mantra that they are talking about will not have any momentum, will not have any support. So ZANU-PF knows that. They know that. That's why they're expressing a lot of interest in this election more than any other time. You have never heard ZANU-PF talking and commenting about the South African election the way they are doing now, even offering to help. We know that they've given the ANC over $3 million so that they can, rig elections. Obviously, they'll be saying it's election support, but I can tell you that money is going towards rigging, trying to rig that election. But I don't see that happening.
Someone has posted here a comment. Annaline Kandudu says, but ANC is going to try and rig my words. Look at that SABC and ANCA were doing to Zuma. So that shows that ANC is going to rig. They're saying they're going to rig. What exactly is that? Are you saying that the SABC and the SABC and ENCA are rigging against Zuma, or what, or rigging for Zuma? What are you saying there, Annaline? Do you understand that, Chief? Do you understand that comment there?
I think, SABC, obviously, that's the ZBC of South Africa. I'm not sure about the NCA. It seems a lot more independent than the SABC. The SABC is, partly the mouthpiece of ANC. Of course, they are not as loud and as obvious as ZBC is for ZANU-PF. They do it, in a veiled manner. But we know that SABC supports the ANC, and they will try to do everything. They will try to use their reach to the millions of South Africans to try and, help the ANC to get back to power.
Wow. Chief, who would you propose that we have today? Because I would like to have a broader discussion around this. Who would you propose? Tikwan Sekumbo Pinza. Now, particularly if they're South African, maybe we can get Maimane, maybe we could get Malema. Who do you think you need to get?
Maimane is the best. Maimane is the best because he's not, personally involved in the election. He's not on the ballot.
Right.
So
I thought Maimane yangari changa chiri chifuti.
Yeah, he's building for the future. He has his One South Africa organization. I'm sure
Right.
He's building for the future.
Right, but in terms of analysis, he could be a good point to analyze and tell us.
Yes.
Just give us a healthy on the ground sort of analysis.
Yeah, and remember, we once had a program with him.
Yes, I do
North
remember.
America, and we broadcasted it on Zuma. He did agree to come, and
yes,
he spoke.
Yes. Wow. Well, Zimbabwe's the nation around the world. This is an interesting discussion, and I think I'm going to drop a question. Today in chat about why are people thinking that? Why are Zimbabweans imagining that Chamisa is in South Africa? He's contesting. Chamisa and Mnangagwa are the ones contesting in South Africa. Why? Why are you hoping on South Africa? No,
Wow.
I'm really looking forward to this, Chief. Maybe we can also have people from ZANU-PF. We'll try and get a good assortment of guys from ZANU-PF, guys from ANC, guys from the DA. Just have numerous people here munching this topic and really giving it a good, healthy treatment.
Yes, it's something that we need to discuss. Like you said, it has a direct bearing on our country and on our politics.
Wow, here we are, Zimbabwe's election around the world. It's just after midnight. Chief, you're going to have to cut. I want to go deeper here. Timboya so explore nyaya idzi. But let's get some of these characters in, particularly those who are on the ground in Pretoria, Joburg, and the like, and all over. Get the Dudula guys also here to be speaking around, and just trying to understand what is going to influence people's votes this time, and also what is going to influence those who do the counting and who do the announcing. Yeah, is it professionalism or there's something else, or they're trying the Zimbabwe way? And Chief, you still insist that Mnangagwa has a lot to lose on this election.
Yes, yes, definitely, definitely. And I'm sure he's more worried than some South Africans and most South Africans. Yeah, he is worried, really. He would want to see ANC winning, but I don't see that happening.
The voice of the people is going to triumph. The real voice of the people.
Ah, hakuna zvakadaro.
Kwete rakero.
Kwete rakero haiwa.
Refuse-
Kupenga izvi.
kugugwa kwamunangagwa kugugwa kwegwendo gwamunangagwa.
Yeah.
Wow, Chief, let's chat, and I'm really interested in this. I'm looking forward to this. Let's chat in the back office. Timboona kuti tingaronge ma sports up tichipinda my election, and we need running commentary throughout, right?
Of
Nema
course, of
live
course.
video background
Of course.
all over South Africa. Tikatungiza the whole country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zimbabwe is on the ballot in South Africa.
Ndokuna Chamisa ikoko hasi kwagutu.
Yeah.
Wow, Chief, let's chat. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Cheers.